Thanks for joining me. I'm Corel Painter Master Aaron Rutten, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to install my custom workspace for Corel Painter 2019. If you haven't done it already, the very first thing you'll want to do is download my workspace from my website, which is aaronrutten.com. You may also have downloaded a workspace included with one of my courses. If you're downloading from my website, you'll click on the Painter Workspace button. That will take you to this page here, and you can click on this button to get Aaron's Painter 2019 workspace. Now that button is going to take you to my Patreon page, and Patreon is a members-only website. Once you sign up to become a member, then you'll get access to this page, and it will look like this. This page has links to download the workspace and instructions for how to access the workspace. You'll want to bookmark this page because we'll be coming back to it again. What's important here is to make note of the password. This password is going to change every month, and that password will be posted here. So now that we have the password, we'll click on the link for the download page. Now once you click on that link, it's going to take you to a page that's going to ask you for a password. This is the password that's found on the previous page. I'll type it in and I'll press enter. This is the download page where you can access the workspace and all of my individual brushes. They're hosted on Dropbox for your convenience and mine. Now you don't have to have a Dropbox account in order to be able to access these files, but there are some advantages to having a Dropbox account. You can sign up for a free Dropbox account by using the link in the description of this video. So for example, I can navigate to the brushes here, and I can go specifically to my blenders. And if I want a specific brush such as this blur brush or this blow brush, then I can easily download the brush variant and its icon. I'm going to go ahead and go back a bit here. For now, we're just going to focus on downloading the Corel Painter workspace file, and that's this file here. The rest of these files are kind of optional, and they're for folks who have their own workspace and just want to add in the individual content such as the brushes or papers and so on. If you want to install everything all at once, then you'll be using the workspace here. In order to download the workspace, you can simply click on it. That will take you to this page here, and then you can click on download. Now it's very important that you do not choose open with. You want to make sure you choose to save the file. So make sure to save it and do not open it. This file will vary in size, but right now it's 244 megabytes, so that's a fairly large file. So you can see that it is taking some time to fully download. You'll want to make sure that the file is downloaded completely before you try to open it. I've gone ahead and just saved that file to my desktop so that I know where to find it. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my web browser. And here you can see that zip file downloaded to my desktop. Now it's important to note that if you did not download a zip file and instead you downloaded the workspace as a PWS file from one of my courses, that the process is going to be a little bit different here. You want to make sure to avoid double-clicking on a PWS file, so you can skip this next step of extracting the zip file. So if the file we downloaded is a zip file, we'll go ahead and double-click on it to extract its contents. And that should just open the contents of that folder. And then what we'll want to do is we'll want to extract the contents. So we can use Extract All here, or you could right-click on the file and you could choose Extract All as well. Let's just go ahead and use the Extract All button. We'll extract everything to the desktop or wherever you want it to go. Once the file has been extracted, you'll see another folder appear, and this is the extracted folder. And within that folder, you can see the workspace file, which is a PWS file, and the installation instructions. Now, it's very important that you do not double-click on this PWS file. You do not want to double-click on it to try to install it. Most commonly, what will happen is it will try to open this PWS file as another zip file. You can, however, read the installation instructions if you want, but I'm going to walk you through all of this. So we're going to leave this file here, and we're going to come back to it. We'll go ahead and launch Corel Painter now. If you've been experimenting with Corel Painter prior to installing this workspace, and you've added content or created new brushes, you may want to go ahead and back up your current workspace in case there's anything you want to get back, because when you install my workspace, it's going to replace your current workspace. So to back up your current workspace, we'll go to the Window menu, and we'll go to Workspace, and then we can choose Export Workspace. Export means it's going to save your workspace as a file. You'll want to save that workspace file somewhere where you'll be able to easily find it again. I'll just call this one Backup for example's sake, and I like to give it a date as well, so we could say 2018-9/25 is the date today, because it's a good idea to save multiple versions of your workspace as you go along. So we'll go ahead and back up our current workspace. I'll click on Save. Again, this is only necessary if you've customized Corel Painter. And now our current workspace has been saved. To install my custom workspace and replace the current workspace, we'll go back to the Window menu. We'll go back to Workspace. And now we can choose Import Workspace. Importing means we're going to load the workspace. Now I want to choose the file for my custom workspace, not the one you backed up. In this case, this one's called AR 2019-9-1. This is a workspace for September. If you're watching this after September, then of course the date will be different. We'll go ahead and click on Open now. You'll want to give it a little bit of time to load the workspace. Once it's finished loading, you may need to go ahead and maximize the window so that it fits on the screen. Depending on the size of your screen, all of your palettes may be clumped here in the center, or they may appear kind of clumped together up in the top left. I've done this because people use a variety of different screen sizes, and I want to make sure that everything is accessible when you first load the workspace. If you find your palettes are all up in the top left and you're using a larger screen, what you can do is you can go to the window menu, and then go to Layout, and then choose Large Monitor. That will move all of your palettes automatically to fill that larger monitor. Or you can simply just drag to move these individual pieces around, and then you can arrange the workspace however you like. I'm just dragging by the top bar here. You can also double-click on this bar to collapse and expand these palettes. So I'll just double-click on these. I will stack them over here so they're out of the way. So if I were using a smaller screen, that's how I would arrange it. And if I want to be able to get to these palettes, I'll just double-click on them to open and show them. Now, I'm not going to go into detail in this video about how to use this workspace. I'm not going to go through any of the features. I just want to focus on how to install the workspace. I have a second video that you can watch that'll give you a tour of the workspace features. But if you just want to add content from my workspace into your own workspace, let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. As you may recall, here in Dropbox, we're able to download the brushes, we can download box files, flow maps, and so on. I did mention that there was an advantage to having a Dropbox account, and that is that you can download the Dropbox app, which integrates with your computer. So for example, on my computer, I've installed the Dropbox app, and basically what that does is that just lets you open Dropbox as a regular folder on your computer. So I can see all of those files that were in that Dropbox website, but now they're just available as folders. So if I wanted to go in here and look at the brushes, then I can view the brushes just like this, and I can simply take this content and drag it out into my computer, and it will copy from Dropbox to my computer. So if I wanted specifically this blow brush here, I could view it by going to View, Large Icons, and then I can see what that icon looks like. It's important that we get the brush variant and the icon for that brush variant. So there's always going to be 2 files for each brush. With those 2 files selected, I can go ahead and copy them to a folder. Now, I think at this point it would be good to have a Workspace folder on your computer, and that's where you store all of your Workspace files and your brushes and so on. It would probably also be good to be organized like I am and have a folder for brushes, and then within that folder, other folders, but that's up to you how organized you want to be. I'm going to go ahead and just copy these 2 blow brushes into my Workspace folder on my computer. And now they are copying from the Dropbox website to my computer. Now, once they're copied to my computer, then I can install them into Corel Painter. Now, you can double-click on this file to install it, but I recommend that you don't do that. The reason why is that sometimes your computer can try to open these files with the wrong application, and that just creates a headache. So we'll go back to Corel Painter, and if we want to import these brushes, we'll go to the Brushes menu, we'll choose Import, and we'll import the brush. We'll locate that folder where we saved our brush, we'll locate the brush, and we'll click on Open. Now it's asking which category we want to add it to. You can choose a pre-existing category, or you can create your own category. Let's just say we'll add it to the blenders. I'll click on Save, and then that brush would appear in whichever category you chose to save it to. Now, just so there isn't any confusion, I didn't need to import this brush into my workspace because it's already been installed. You only need to install these individual brushes into your own custom workspace. I do update this workspace each month by adding new brushes to it. To make things easier for people who are using their own workspaces, if you go back to the Patreon VIP folder, then there's a couple of different ways that you can install the new content each month. One is there will be a folder which contains the new brushes for that month. And if we go to that folder, you can see it contains just the new brushes for that month. So you could easily copy those, drag them over, and install them. Or you could use the box files. Now, box files are entire palettes of brushes with the icons included. So for example, if I wanted all of my blenders in a palette here, I can install the box file. I'll need to first drag that box file to my computer so that it's copying from Dropbox to my computer. And again, I don't want to double click on that file to install it. I want to go back to Corel Painter and then go to the window menu, choose Custom Palette, Organizer, and here within the Custom Palette Organizer, I can choose Import. I'll choose that Blenders box file, and if I click Open, it will install it in my workspace. Then what you'll get is a palette like this that will come preloaded with all of the brushes and their icons. Otherwise, you have to install the icons that I included manually by right-clicking on the brush, and then choosing Set Custom Icon, and then choosing the appropriate icon. Now, if I bring back that Patreon folder, you can see there are also flow maps and papers and lots of other content that you can install. I'm not going to go into detail about how to do that. I have a separate video you can watch, or you can check out my Corel Painter training course, and that'll teach you how to install and use all of this stuff. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this installation tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Patreon or comment on this video. If you'd like a quick tour of my workspace and what it can do, stay tuned for part 2.